Hello Internet, hello Final Fantasy fans, I'm Jackie Fox, and have you ever made a mistake? Well, I have. Have you ever thought that you were copy-pasting a team format into another slot so you could modify it because it was already elementally compatible with the dungeon you were trying to run, but also you wanted to make it kind of runically compatible, so you're just going to copy it and you're going to paste it. But instead of copying and pasting in the way that you're familiar to with War of the Visions, that same sort of dark pattern that was created there in that game actually leads me to press a button that doesn't have like a verification or anything, which is awful kind of fucked for an item that you only give me 3 of a week for free. Anyways, I find myself facing off against the first boss in this dungeon with an unideal party and a DPS that has 2 out of 3 of the right elements, but pretty much the rest of the party is fucked. Luckily though, I get to leave one behind at all times, so I've got to fight this with 2 out of 3 people on this team, and since Barrett really wasn't meant for this, I'm just going to be leaving him at home at all times and fighting this with Cloud and Aerith. So, here's making the best of it run of Logue Ruins, Logue, where I'm just going to make the best of it. It's a real blessing that the Masamune is what it is. I mean, in a game with a propensity for fighting a like monopolistic, capitalistic enterprise with a propensity for building giant robots of war, that one of the first swords we get for our Berserker DPS is lightning based. I have not regretted building into that at all since I pulled it, and it remains on my wish list to this day because I think it's going to carry me through most of this dungeon, to be honest with you, so let's see how that goes. You guys might recognize Blue Goo from the Infernal Lantern EX2 fight. It pops up in wave 3 or 4 as one of the sets of ads. Not a particularly difficult adversary, so we've got our Barrett back, just in case you didn't believe he was coming with me. Might actually need a lot of the items here, but we're doing pretty good so far. We hardly took any damage in that first fight, and wow, Thunder and Arrow Cocktail. Luckily, those are the 2 elements that Cloud has, so let's go ahead and use the Thunder Cocktail before I forget about it. Although I probably should have used an Arrow Cocktail. Also, one thing that I do have to my advantage, as you can see, my team was not built for this, but I do know what... Well, actually I don't... So, Final Fantasy VII EC.gg doesn't really do a good job of listing which boss is where on these, although I guess there is a map and I could cross-reference if I wanted to. But I'm going to be showing you some of the boss information on the side while I go through some of these fights. It's a really handy resource, especially for dungeon runs like this, where the game wants to keep some of that information hidden to you until you've gone through it once, arbitrarily changing them in between. You know, think about this. We only get 3 tickets a week as free-to-plays, unless you want to start paying blue crystals for them. Then, you know, to do a dungeon well, you really need a scouting run, or at the very least, you need good, detailed information about what you'll be facing before you face it. And Final Fantasy VII EC.gg does that. Kind of a bare-bones website. It's not quite up to the standards of like wotv calc or even wotv stats, but it is, I mean, it does what it does. It has good advice, and it has good information. So I appreciate it, and I'll be showing you more of that as we go through. But right now, as you can see, I'm really dominating the lightning weakness phases. And boom, we're gone. Out of here. As soon as those defenses went down and we really started dealing damage, that fight was pretty much over. So, luckily, I brought the Marasame to a fight full of mechanical things. This is probably the easiest dungeon to have lucked into for a Murasame player, or a Murasame Cloud player, especially. Taking the defense over the healing potency. I mean, if I don't need to heal, theoretically my healing potency is very high. If I can keep the life that has been healed, that's more potent, I think. And some fire cocktails. Unfortunately, I can't boost fire because I don't have anybody with a fire attack. I did not come prepared in that way. But that is a lot of wind. I should go ahead and use a wind cocktail just in case the next boss is weak to it, because I have more than enough to only be using them on Cloud. Tinawat also is another, I think that's wave 4. They're probably the more dangerous of the friends to come in with the Infernal Lantern. For anybody who's having trouble with the Infernal Lantern fights, by the way, be it EX1 or EX2, they are, if you saw my video for the Dark Army, you have to use a different strategy in that you have to take out the ads first, because only after you get through several waves of them will you be able to truly damage the boss. Even if you apply breaks, you're not going to be doing anywhere near the damage you could be if you go through the waves the way that the battle wants you to. It kind of shoehorns you into this strategy. Once you learn it, it's pretty easy, but at the end, when the defenses finally do come down, you want to be able to apply your breaks really quickly. I think Tifa and Somersault really work well here, and Somersault gets active enough that you can also use it once during the fight anyways. But at that point, you really want to blow as much damage as quickly as possible before those defenses come back up and you go back into waves, because there's also a threshold in between there that every time I've hit it, I've never actually gotten into defense and I've never put up defenses for it, but every time I've gotten to that point, worst case scenario, it's always my worst case scenario because I've been DPS racing and I just hoped I could have beat it before this landed. But it'll land for like 14k pretty universally across my party. I'm really not sure how much that can be defended or blocked or mitigated. I think you have to beat it before you get into that, but you know, if you keep in mind that you have to get to your maximum breaks right away, and that Somersault is really good at doing that, even though you're losing one of your LB slots, you can do a lot of damage to this boss and get past it. Just like I did the Icy Raven, which is weak to, I believe, probably, I could have been weak to wind. I wasn't really paying attention as I was recounting some boss strategy to you, but it was definitely weak to the fire that I'm not carrying with me, so certainly a missed opportunity there. Time to get our Barret back. I got my Barret back, Barret back, Barret back, Barret back, Barret back, Barret back. Baby, I got my Barret back. Yeah. Okay, time to start using these Thunder and Arrow cocktails. I pretty much only have these last two fights, so I might as well buff both of these things in each fight. Again, should have been using the Arrow cocktails. Let's also get some Ether in here. This is going to be our first fight with all 3 members of the party, so it's going to be the first fight where I'm weaker than I should be, in a way, because, you know, I should have built to have a more useful option here than the Barret in the particular build that I have it in. This was my Earth team, by the way, my versus Earth weakness team. And that's what Barret is running to utilize. High Earth damage. Not helpful here at all. Not saying that he's a bad unit or anything, and this Mind Blow is certainly gonna come in handy, but I think I want to hold on to Aerith's LB for right now. This guy has some big boy barriers up, but we're still doing a ton of damage regardless. That's, I guess on the magical side, since that's a physical barrier, and LBs are physical magical, I guess we could have been doing twice as much damage if we waited until this phase, right in between there. Stone Barrier is once again giving physical resistance. Magic, magic, magic would be a great way to get through this fight. As you can see, even the magic side of our LBs and magic attacks are doing pretty good damage even through the barriers, as these barriers never show up to deal with magic. Now it has its attacking power up enough to take out Barret, unfortunately for me. Feels like Healing Wind is a little bit late at this point. I can't bring him back to life, but it can boost my damage. Again, blocking the physical side of that reduces my damage by quite a bit. At this point, though, it's got all of its attacking power up. If we get hit, it could be very, very bad, but it also broke its defenses shortly after, and that was the beginning of the end for the Mad Anchor, Part 2. Pretty sizable score there. We've been doing pretty good in these fights so far. Like, really brutally, like, it's shocking that we're doing this good, this accidentally in a very hard. But hey, they are weak to lightning. Lightning was legitimately one of the ways to get through this, and I have a very powerful lightning strategy, if almost literally nothing else. Can't go that way. And I do think I can get lost in here. Yep, nope, I'm gonna circle back around. Didn't remember that I just came from here. Don't do this. What you should do, and you'll have a minute to go down and open this link already, but go down into the description, open that link, linktree / Jackie Fox. Go ahead and open that up. That's something for you to check out after this video. Now, go ahead and scroll back up, because I'm gonna use some of my items as I return to where I started from. Barret back up to full health, get him some ATB. Get some ATB going around the party with some ether. And then thunder and arrow cocktails for my DPS. Nobody else has lightning or wind moves, unfortunately. So here we are navigating back to the center of the map, which is where our big boss is now fully unleashed. That's a lot of power. This is a big oh boy. Alright, so it's a behemoth and it doesn't actually have any elemental weaknesses, so this is just going to be a tough fight that I'm not maybe as unprepared for as I have been other fights, I guess. D-Brave definitely putting in some work here, because as you can see, even with it, he's hitting hard, and Barret does not have enough HP to deal with this shit. Body Slam is coming, but we just got ourselves into defense, and bang, that does do pretty good damage too. Barret is going to need to be topped off, but there we go. Okay, getting back into this fight. We're over halfway down, and he is building up his counter and charging up into Flare. That's going to be a problem. Even in defense, this is going to hurt, I believe. Woof. Okay, Barret survived there. He was the one I was worried about. We got a heal in, so now he's above 2k. That makes me feel safer. We can also get him back up to full with Healing Wind, and here comes the LB chain. I'm starting the chain with Mind Blow because that's where the breaks are. I don't know if either of those breaks were actually applied and whether it matters in this particular fight, but I always start out with Somersault or Mind Blow, as those are my breakers, and those are going to cause the rest of my Limit Burst chain to deal more and more damage. So here we are, right here at the edge, and we got him. Folks, we got him. So, after making the best of it, making the most of it, this whole fight, doing the best I can with the subpar preparations that were unfortunately made for this, stubbornly not wanting to waste one of my 3 precious tickets, practically golden tickets. How did we score? How well did we do? We got the clear. We lost Barrett once out of 2 fights we had him in, really. And wow, cleared that S+ by quite a bit. Logue's Ruins, very hard. S+ clear. Good job, everybody. But let me actually, after we check this out, I want you to see the team that I actually wanted to use and what I'd advise you to use. And when I say advise you to use, I mean you don't have to copy this. Just copy the principles, come as close to it as you can. I've overbuilt this because, as you can see, you don't necessarily need to overbuild for this to be able to beat it, to be able to clear it most maximally. However, if you don't have the raw power, it can help to overbuild. So, what would overbuilding look like for this fight? Well, first, I wanted to start with this team, the one that I was using before I swapped in Tifa into my Dark Army team. I want to overwrite this team, number 16. There we go. So this gets me the wind portion. Now, what I would recommend doing is working in a little bit of fire. Again, this cloud is actually set up really similarly to the way that the previous one was, so that can definitely work out for you. But as you can see, maybe also switching out the Earth skill on Sephiroth for, I mean, probably not fire, but yeah, maybe some more lightning. Lightning was doing pretty effectively throughout this. But really, like, do the best you can, and I haven't even set this team up yet, so enjoy watching me kind of tweak this to be more suited for this particular piece of content based on what I've seen from both my run through it and from Final Fantasy VII or ff7ec.gg. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also check out that link in the description, which you opened in another tab. Thank you. As soon as you get done watching the video or browsing on YouTube, just remember to go to that tab and check out all of the other things that I'm doing across the internet. Be sure to check those things out. Halloween episode coming soon. So fucking excited for it. It's a long one. It's all about the history of your favorite monsters and monster movies and what they tell us about ourselves. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.